What's going on, good listener? Welcome inside the TCA studio in beautiful Bytown, Canada for a Friday edition of the Tall Can Audio Podcast. Matt Robinson with you, as always, joined today by our buddy Kenny Walls. What's happening, man?
Oh, not much. Just living life to its fullest.
Wow.
Yeah,
right.
Sure. Yeah, well, I just came back from Oshawa, so I have to cherish every moment.
Oh, see, I thought you were riding the high of being in Oshawa, perhaps. No, maybe not.
Not
quite. We're on social media at Tall Can Audio. Give us a follow there and subscribe to the pod wherever you happen to be hearing us right now. You've been here, I was going to say a time or two, but just a time.
A time.
You know where we like to start, though. Would you pull out of the magic fridge there?
I pulled out Old Flame Brewing Company's... is this just Red? Is that what it's known as? Red?
Yep.
Or Worth Remembering? Is that just their slogan?
That's their slogan. And
yeah, I like
remember.
it. Yeah, I like it. So I'm
just
looking
north
forward
of
to it.
So you have grabbed something local. I appreciate that. The Old Flame Brewing Company is in Port Perry, Ontario, just north of the Dirty Schwa. I love that brewery just in the sense that, like I said, like you said, it's named Old Flame. And all their beers are named after like high school relationships. So there's the redhead, there's the blonde, there's the brunette, right? There's all these sorts of things. So I like a good red. I'm glad you pulled that one. Over here, this is an old favorite of mine. This is the Black Coal Stout from the Railway City Brewing Company down in St. Thomas, Ontario. I guess we're just outside of London here. There is hockey news, OHL news specifically, perhaps not far from there in Chatham, Ontario. I'm going to pick your brain on that, whether you think that's real or not, as we get into it. But on your first pull there of the Old Flame Red, what'd you think?
Delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add. I'm at the end of a long day. Mm-hmm. I am good. This is delicious.
Okay. You have been good enough to join us after being out at the Canadian Tire Centre, which anybody here in the nation's capital knows. It's a bit of a hike. And we're in the west end of Ottawa. It's still a hike to get back here, but appreciate that as always, man. Look, I want to pick your brain on the OHL playoffs moving forward. I want to pick your brain on, I don't know if it's how real this might be, expansion in the offing for the OHL. I want to pick your brain a little bit on how this first year of the NCAA crossover has gone. I'm going to bug you on a bunch of things here, but I should let the good listener know that if you missed it on the last episode of the podcast, we had our buddy Arden Zwelling from Sportsnet here. It's opening day for your Toronto Blue Jays, and he had a lot to say on what to expect out of the Jays thus far, how things look down in Dunedin, where he was covering the Jays for Sportsnet. So go back, check that one out wherever you're hearing us right now, or at tallcanaudio.com. Man, I know you're a busy guy. They keep you pretty well occupied around TSN 1200. Where does baseball fit for you kind of on your hierarchy of what to watch night to night?
Well, now it's if I'm out by the pool in a day game, I'm all in.
Okay.
I have the TV out there. I'm just lounging in the pool and it's visible. It's great. And the playoff runs, I'm all in. Mm-hmm. On a day-to-day basis, I'm not dialed in anymore.
Okay.
That was my number one sport growing up. I loved playing. I loved watching, going to Jays games growing up in Kitchener. I was all about it. And it's trailed to the background. Getting to 162 games, trying to keep track of everything.
It's a lot.
And it's a lot. And with life and family, it's a little more burdensome to try and track for me. And during the summer, that's my time.
Yeah.
That's my time to unwind and not really pay attention to a whole lot more. But when it's on, I'll watch it, but it's not.
There's no better background sport, right?
That baseball is what got me in love with radio.
Yeah.
Listening to Jays games, listening
Tom and Jerry.
Listening to the stories that can be told. And I love, and I try and do this in my broadcast, and I don't know whether I succeed or not, but you interweave the story. You weave it in between the play, and you pick it up where it left off. And that's one thing that I love about baseball.
And that's when Stubby Clapp decided that he'd ball inside 1-1.
Exactly. It can be ongoing.
Yep.
And to me, baseball is where a radio play-by-play guy can really define the game, and you can make it happen. And that's where the visualization and making the listener see what you see through your voice is incredible, because you have so much downtime. You have everything to do.
Sure.
And I've never called a baseball game. It's something that I would love to do, but it does give me inspiration into a hockey game.
Yeah,
because
you're one of the few guys doing it solo here for the 67s, right? Like where you have that whole broadcast. I know people come in and out of the booth sometimes and this and that, but that's your show, right? And so to be able to intertwine the story, hockey's a little different. It doesn't give you the same breaks that baseball does, but it's a one of those spaces where you can. If I don't have to let a color guy in here, I can continue my story.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can keep on weaving it in and out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be just one stoppage. It can be, all right, well, it sucks when the play goes on for 6.5 minutes and you haven't finished a story. So back to what I was saying. And you try and remember.
Yeah.
And I've got a brutal memory to begin with. So trying to remember what I was saying, where I picked it up in the story minutes later is almost impossible. But it does give me inspiration. And I love listening to baseball. My mom would have it on in the background. The Jays, she would never watch a game.
Right.
She hated watching baseball on TV because she felt that the announcers and whoever was in, they never did a good enough job describing what was happening. Because she didn't really want to watch. She would crochet or knit or do something else. She'd do a crossword puzzle.
But the baseball play-by-play guy is like, you're looking at it. How bad do you need me to describe it for you?
Exactly. Yeah. So, swing of the bat and crack.
Yeah.
What just happened? And so she loved the radio, and that's really what got me in love with radio as well. And we talked about it last time. People can go listen to that. I don't need to get into it again. But happenstance have it that I got into it and has made it as far as I am today. But that was a big factor in it.
100%, man. And like we used we will again here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Dan Schulman will be back on the podcast, but he used to talk about the experience of that pandemic season where they didn't want extra broadcasters traveling around. So the TV guy would also have the radio broadcast. He's like, it's a different call, right? Like I'm used to just, I still, as a play-by-play guy, need to describe what's happening and why that happened, but extra detail on the radio, right? Like you better tell somebody what just happened. And he goes, it had been a while since I had done that. So that's always interesting. For us as a family, we used to camp up and down the Trent Severn Waterway. My parents had a cabin cruiser, like a boat, and we'd go up and down. And, at some point in the evening, I would sneak back onto the boat and be able to turn the station from whatever, probably Rock 95 out of Peterborough or whatever, and switch it over to 980 Cruise would carry the Blue Jays, and I would listen to Tom and Jerry. And people would yell at me, put it back, put the music on, but there's just something about baseball in the summer, man. On the radio, like you said, to this day, if you're out at your pool, if I'm at the lake there at the family cottage, I'm still going to put the Jays game on, and you don't have to see every pitch. It's just kind of the background sound of your summer.
Yeah,
so.
and one of my best times was my grandparents lived in Ottawa. We lived in Toronto or Kitchener or wherever we were at the time, and driving to and from and trying to find stations, not knowing any of them, but going through the AM dial and what can we find that's carrying the Jays game?
Because it would always be on the Blue Jays radio network. And you'd be like, okay, so it's a network. Like there's got to be somewhere around here. Yes. Somebody's got it.
So we would scan nothing. And it would go through once. Yeah. Twice. The third time it got something. And then it would die out a little bit. So then you wouldn't go scan, you would go seek.
Yes.
And you would just go one by one. All right, what can we get here?
Radio nerds.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love that. And my mom would do the same thing.
Yeah.
It sucked when you lost reception and have to go find it again. But that was half the battle.
Of course.
That was half the battle. Now you just pull it up on your phone and away you go. No problem.
Yeah.
So long as you pay for it with MLB. Well. But it's a whole lot easier to access.
Did you see what the Mets are doing? Did that come across your radar?
No, I didn't see that.
So in the stadium, if you have the MLB app and you're a Mets fan, they have installed this extra transmitter. It's 5G or 4G. I don't know. I'm not that techie of a nerd. That will give you the play-by-play, the radio broadcast through your phone without the usual delay. Because that was always the problem, right? Like for a long time, people went to baseball games and would have their shortwave radio and listen to the AM broadcast in their ballpark with almost no delay. But now people leave their radios at home and bring their phones, and so now there's the time that it takes for the go out to the radio transmitter and out to your mobile network and back to your phone, and it's like a 7-second, 9-second, sometimes more than that delay. The Mets have installed this transmitter in their ballpark that will allow it to be within a second of getting from the broadcaster's mouth to your phone, man. And to me, I don't know, maybe I'm just that guy. I don't know how many people will care, but I care. Like, I think that's awesome, and I can't imagine it's too long before that goes out across baseball and maybe beyond that. I know down in Belleville right now, the Belleville Senators, our buddy David Foote tells me that's already a thing in their arena. So this is just tech that's waiting to be picked up, man.
Yeah, at the Sens, I don't know the technology, but they have the direct link to TSN 1200, and that's played in the bathrooms. Whenever you go in there, you can hear the broadcast, and it's in real time. It's not on a delay as far as
it's not
I
on your
know.
phone.
No, it's not on your phone, so it's not in-house. I do believe there is a frequency that you can get it.
Okay.
I am not there enough, and I'm not involved with the Sens enough to know what that is, but I do believe it is very easily found. I'm just not aware of it at this time.
Fair enough. Look, I want to ask you, man, and like I said, for the good listener, if you missed it, Arden Swelling was on the last podcast. Go back, check it out wherever you're hearing this right now, because it is opening day for baseball as well by the time you're all hearing this. But you've talked about making that drive from Toronto, Kitchener, Toronto, Kingston, up to Ottawa to see your grandparents and trying to tune in the radio. We are, as you and I sit here and talk, on the verge of what I would have thought was a much bigger junior hockey rivalry in Ottawa-Kingston. I can't believe how long it's been since they've met each other in the playoffs. And so that's going to be interesting here. But there's some communities along that commute. And one of them is Cornwall. And I read something a couple of weeks ago that suggested perhaps the OHL is on the verge of returning to Cornwall. Am I hearing that right? Have you heard anything about that? Do you think that's viable?
First of all, I've been to Cornwall for OHL preseason games. Mm-hmm. The 67s and Frontenacs met and played there. They're doing upgrades at the arena now.
Okay.
They are in desperate need of them.
Yes.
In a variety of reasons. There's a press box, but it is not usable compared to everything else that the standards for the OHL are at. The dressing room area is not at OHL standards. There are a variety of things that would definitely need to be upgraded.
How old is this building?
That I don't know.
Okay.
The arena seems old. The building around it seems fresher. They've done a good job because it's a community area. As far as the potential of it, from what I've heard through various sources, is that there will be OHL games played in Cornwall next season.
Wow.
And that
Perhaps
the Brampton...
not a team, but games.
Games.
Yep.
The Brampton Steelheads will likely play games in Cornwall as the home team against, my guess, and this is where I would speculate, against Ottawa and Kingston.
Sure.
Because it just makes the most sense to have them travel up. I don't know how many games. I don't know when or what the process is. It would be a pain in the ass for the Brampton team and the equipment managers and everybody. But if you want to check the viability of it, that's one way to go. Now, for those very few fans in Brampton that would be worried about a team leaving, the other thing that I heard was that while this owner owns the team, it will not be moving.
Okay.
So read into that what you will, but that was the terminology that was said to me. That while this owner owns the team, it will not be moving. So, again, getting back to Cornwall, I do believe it is viable. I don't know the community that well. I've only made the trip up a handful of times.
Right.
And the one thing I will say, I don't know how much of an impact it will have for teams staying there, because I can't imagine OHL teams staying in Cornwall. Because just from a logistics point of view, it makes more sense to stay either in Ottawa or Kingston to base out of, drive 2 hours to Ottawa, 2 hours to Cornwall, or whatever it is, and then move on. Or from Ottawa, an hour to Cornwall, 2 hours to Kingston, and go home. So from a logistical point of view, it doesn't make sense to base out of Cornwall, which is what I think a lot of people would anticipate. Oh, well, the hotel market will go up, and they don't have any hotels for teams to stay at. Well, teams don't need to stay there realistically. Maybe one or two will, but you don't have to. They've got all the other amenities that you could need, but I don't think that the financial impact would be as great from that point of view. And I don't want to speak for something that I don't know. I don't know about what the attendance would be like. I don't know what the demand for the Cornwall team to return it.
Does this testing the water thing for you ever work? Because I going back to the Blue Jays, they would, for several years, they would come up from spring training, play 2 games at Olympic Stadium, sell them out, and then everyone in Montreal would scream, "See, we're ready for baseball." Well, selling out 2 home games is different than selling out 81, right? And the PWHL is going through this right now. Mm-hmm. See, we just had big results in Chicago or Seattle or whatever it might be. And sometimes those are telling, and sometimes they're not. And in junior hockey, are you going to get me excited to go watch Brampton play Kingston if I'm a Cornwall resident? And like, does that indicate any viability for the league for you?
It's a hard one to answer because I think it will give you a look at the diehards who really want hockey to come back.
Like this would be our bare minimum or our baseline?
Yeah, because when North Bay came back into the league and the team moved there from Brampton, they demanded a 3-year ticket agreement.
Yeah.
You had to buy tickets for 3 years in order to buy season tickets for year 1.
Right.
And the ticket sales went great, but then we saw a plummet. And it's still good, well attended there, but it's not at that same level as
it's
the
a little
first
different,
3.
but when the Jets came from Atlanta.
Yeah, exact same thing.
You better buy 5 years, and once those 5 years ran out, it was, now we're on our own. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's
so
tough, man.
You don't get a true indication of it, but I don't know. I think that a market like that could work, but again, I don't know enough about Cornwall. I don't know enough about its residents to know whether that demand for hockey, for OHL level hockey, is there, or junior hockey.
And it has a history in the league, but it's somewhat removed now. And what about Chatham? Because this has only been in the last day or two. Again, I don't know how real these things are. Most of the OHL, like junior hockey people I follow, seem to be giving it kind of a snarky wave that was like, if you could get a new building, you'll be there. And everyone was like, yeah, if you had a new building, that's always been the case. Like that market's been ready for a long time if you had a building. Are you hearing anything at all about Chatham Kent?
I'm hearing about it, and I've been hearing about it for a long time. Yeah. The current arena is in way worse shape than what Cornwall is. It's in worse shape than what Brantford took over at the Civic Center, where Michael Landlauer put millions of dollars into it and then sold the team. So if you do have an owner or an expansion team that comes in and wants to renovate a building that has, 3,000 seats and commit to getting underway for a new building like Brantford has, then you could come in and sell me on that. To get a market to build a building without understanding the demand for OHL level hockey, to me, is tough.
Yeah.
And that's a tough pill to sell to your constituents that, hey, we have something that we don't know how it's going to do here. Let's spend $150 to $300 million building a new rink. Whatever the figure is, and
that's your money, by the way, good taxpayer.
That's, but you can put community rinks in there, and you can there's a whole bunch of brand new rinks that are going in. Look at Gatineau. That is a phenomenal facility, and they've got multiple pads in there. They've done a great job with the Olympique. You can do it in a responsible way where it benefits not just an OHL team and bringing a new team in, but a community. Peterborough, on the other hand, is ass backwards. They right beside the rink. Have you ever been to Peterborough?
I'm an Oshawa guy. I try not to go there unless I have to.
Right beside the Peterborough Memorial Center.
Yep.
They're building a brand new hockey rink.
Yep.
Twin pads, I believe.
Yep.
But it's not for the OHL. How do you not?
And that's a retro bar. Like that of any market.
I hate it. I hate that rink in Peter. It's got character. Great. I don't now. I don't care about character when the guys
possible way to say
when the guys in front of me look back at me every game because they're season ticket holders and asking, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm broadcasting the game. You know this. You've been here for 20 years. I don't like that.
You ran into my brother-in-law, I think.
But
way to go, Cletus.
when you are building something, let's look at a bigger picture. If you made that into a twin pad plus an OHL barn and added a little bit extra to that bill, and you get rid of the PMC as it is now and turn that into, residential, whatever you need to do to make back a little bit of the money, then you're ahead in the game. because you have a brand new rink.
Yes.
Right now, to me, if Peterborough doesn't get a new rink, and it doesn't seem like they are anytime soon, they're in jeopardy of falling way behind everybody with the facilities.
This is a classic market. Like, as much as I like to bust on Peterborough, like, that's a tent post OHL market.
It
right?
should be.
Yeah, it should be. And when, like, for me as an Oshawa guy, like, they found space in dirty old downtown Oshawa to not just build the OHL rink. It has a practice pad, right?
Yeah.
It has a second
and it's
rink.
jammed all the time.
Well,
that second rink is jammed.
the second rink.
The
Yes.
second rink is jammed every time I go in there.
yes. And so that's what you should be doing. And so, like you point out, Matt, to be building a brand new arena right next to the old one in Peterborough, be like, it's got nothing to do with the Petes. We're not even going to allow for that. Like you said, ass backwards is the right way to paint that.
It's short term. It's short sighted, in my opinion. And I'm an OHL guy. I want to see the OHL succeed.
Of course.
And as a community, they want to see it succeed as well because it's well attended.
Yep.
And
they have a hard enough time. Like, we are now in this era where even junior hockey players, you see guys go, I don't want to go to Peterborough. Like, it's kind of out in the
Peterborough
middle
guys don't want to go to Peterborough. No. So it's one of those things where, and I know you want to get into it, they're competing with the NCAA.
Yeah.
How do you compete with the NCAA when you have a facility like that when, let's go to Michigan State or Penn State. Let's go there and they got $1 billion facility.
Yeah.
And the hockey may not be any better, but their facility is, and their lifestyle could be better as well than living in Peterborough. So that's what Chatham-Kent has to decide, whether it's worth building a new rink. To do that, there are other ways to get around it and to make it more than just an OHL facility. Because how many concerts is
coming to
Chatham-Kent going to draw in that?
It's the trues.
Yeah.
It's default.
So if you're building a 5,000 seat stadium or rink, what else can you get in there?
Sam Roberts Band. And I like Sam Roberts.
And again. He's got a residency in Chatham-Kent. It's perfect. If you want to go see Sam Roberts, come see us. But that's the way you can do it. That's the way you can sell it, is to have other things attached to it and a community center attached to it, whether it be an entire pool area and you're making it the community hub, or whether it's just, here's your hockey hub. You come here, we've got 3 pads, like in Kitchener.
Yeah.
They've got the Memorial Auditorium, they've got a Kiwanis pad, and they got a Kinsman pad.
There you go.
And it's
a community thing.
It's a community thing. And it's more than just the OHL team plays here. It's the OHL team plays here, and my son's playing at the rink downstairs.
Sure.
Or down
Take your skates off. We're going to go and watch the Rangers tonight.
Yeah. Right? So there's ways to do it, but all these rumors are based in fact. There's an opportunity for expansion. Brian Crawford has said in the past they want to explore expansion, and I don't think anything is off the table if it's viable. And they're looking at the viability of all these things.
Well, you did allude to it here a second ago, and that's the NCAA of it all. Is this, in your opinion, and I want to ask you about what you've noticed in terms of any differences between the quality of play, if any, here in year one of this new NCAA junior hockey agreement. We're hearing also that the NHL and the AHL and the CHL are getting ready. If you have a first-round pick who's still CHL eligible, he could go to the AHL. Now, there's a lot of moving pieces here.
Well, let's start with that. Let's start with that new rule.
Yeah.
Because...
Did I explain that well? If you have a first-round pick who's 19 years old, normally that kid has to go back to the OHL or the WHL or the QMJHL. They now understand that kid might just leave for college. So we might as well also open the door to the AHL. Is that the...
Essentially.
Yeah.
So let's take, for example, this year. Mm-hmm. If this rule were in place, players who were born in 2006, Zane Parekh, Sam Dickinson, Michael Misa.
Fucking old, man.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. 2006 born players are 19 years old this year, in their 19-year-old season. So instead of being forced to play in the NHL or in the CHL, they would have an option for first-round picks to go play in the AHL. Mm-hmm. Now, in order to play in the AHL, you have to sign an NHL contract.
Right.
And right now, you cannot play in the NCAA having signed an NHL contract. To me, that's where first-round picks can now stay in the CHL, and it's actually a benefit to CHL teams because you're not going to see players jump ship at 18 to potentially go play in the NCAA or want to go at 19 because, well, there's a chance now that I could play in the AHL or get called up, but I have to sign a contract.
Right.
And there's for CHL teams, there will now be an opportunity for them to come back. Whereas if they go to the NCAA, that chance is less and less, in my opinion.
Essentially, yeah, and this is where it gets really hairy, but there's likeness rights and this and that in the NCAA. You can get paid, but you can't be paid to play hockey specifically. So if you sign an NHL contract, you're done in college.
Which it will get overturned at some point.
It will, but it hasn't yet. And so at this point, it does leave a different avenue open between the AHL, the NHL, and the CHL that doesn't exist for NCAA.
Yeah, so for those few, those 32 every year that are picked in the first round who turn 19, they'll have an opportunity to play in the AHL. And only a handful of those guys come. I shouldn't say a handful. Let's say 60% of those guys come from the CHL.
Right.
If not, maybe a little bit more.
Sure.
Which is still a
you got
huge
your Europeans
number.
and your college kids and your,
So it won't be that many. People were worried, oh, well, it's going to be like 3 per team. No, it's not. Because there are very few 19-year-olds who are ready to play professional hockey. You can't tell me different. I have seen a lot of hockey, and the maturity level, the physicality of the AHL to go up and play against 30-year-old men is difficult. Not everybody is Matthew Schaefer who can go out there and dominate. It's hard.
Yeah.
Sam Dickinson was unbelievable in London last year.
Yes.
He's been solid, but he hasn't been otherworldly in San Jose.
Nope.
Michael Misa's finally starting to pick it up as a first-year player with the San Jose Sharks. Zane Parekh is not. He just scored his first goal of the season in the NHL. It's not easy to play professional hockey. This isn't the AHL, but we're seeing Carter Yakimchuk, just called up by the Ottawa Senators, had a great debut.
Yep.
He struggled in the AHL. He was minus 30. So
that was a call-up of necessity.
Yes. He wouldn't have been called up had he not been, but he was great in that first game.
Yes, he was.
I don't want to take away from him, but he was a minus 30.
Yeah.
And he was showing signs of improvement, but that's what it takes. And he's a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
So for somebody a year younger to come in and make an impact, enough of an impact, or needing to get away from their junior team. Let's put it another way. Plain and simple, if the NHL team views it a problem situation, no names, but if they view it a problem situation, then they have the ability to put him in the AHL and get him away from that, barring a trade. You don't have to keep him in the NHL and not play him. You can send him down there, still get the seasoning, still get better.
Yeah.
But again, yes, the AHL's a quote-unquote development league. How much development are you seeing? Honestly.
Well, because
the kids aren't touching the puck.
No. And those coaches have a responsibility to win as well. Like, while you call it a development league, those are players that are trying to move up. Those are coaches that are trying to get noticed. And so if you are, and look, this is a bad example because we all know he's going to be a good NHLer, and I think that's what makes it safe to use Carter Yakimchuk as an example here. If he's not doing exactly what you want him to do here, a bad coach could bury that guy on the third pair and just say, yeah, you're not doing it for me tonight. That's not a development league. That's a win league, right? And so
it is a development league because players do get better.
Yeah.
And you are learning, but a lot of the learning is done in games.
Yep.
And if you are buried on the third pairing or fourth line as a kid, it's tough to get those puck touches. This player has made out a really solid NHL career, but he was a first-round pick and a pretty high one in Curtis Lazar. He came up to the Ottawa Senators, in my opinion, too early, went back to the World Juniors, all that stuff.
Yep.
He scored 50 goals at the junior level. Whether he would have performed better or had a more of an opportunity with more puck touches, does it hurt to be touching the puck more?
Yeah, no.
There are certain situations where players have outgrown the league. I do believe that Michael Misa is one of them who outgrew the OHL. Sure. He needed to move on. And he would have been a really good candidate to spend some time in the AHL.
Sure.
And I think he could have, just based on the rules that were done. But in any respect,
it doesn't always work. Like Shane Wright gets pulled up, and then he goes to Coachella because I think it was an injury exemption allowed him to go there briefly, but not all that long. Like, everybody's path is a little different.
Everybody's different. You're right, and it's tough to say. I do like the rule though, because not everybody's going to be clamoring to get, or not every NHL team is going to be clamoring to get guys, but it can get them out of bad situations into the coaching that you want. If you don't believe that the coach is directing the player as you want, there's different avenues of it. I just don't. Some people view it as doomsday for the CHL. Oh, here's another strike against the CHL. It's going to be as bad as the USHL soon, or it's going to be as bad as the NAHL.
See, to me, this one is the opposite. Like, you've painted this perfectly, that this creates another reason to stay in the CHL and to be in that. Like, the best guys, if they want to, they're going to go to the NCAA. That's done. That's a fait accompli, right? Like, this is now a reason to consider staying back. To me, I don't think this did any extra harm to the CHL.
I don't think so. Another example.
It would have been before the NCAA agreement. It isn't now. Like, that's done.
Porter Martone.
Yeah.
Playing at Michigan State this year. He was a late birthday, so he's 19 years old this year after being selected 6th overall by the Philadelphia Flyers.
Mm-hmm.
Was going to go to either Michigan or Michigan State. Chose Michigan State. Fine. Left the Brampton Steelheads. They had a terrible year.
Future Cornwall Steelheads.
That's you.
That is me.
That's not me.
That's Matt being an asshole, as he is from time to time.
And this may be a little bit odd, because I do believe that Philadelphia was okay with Porter going to Michigan State for the next year of development.
Yes.
But had they had the option to send him to the AHL instead, would that have been an opportunity? I believe, and I may be wrong in this, I don't think I am, he led the NCAA in scoring as a freshman and playing on Michigan State, who's a good team. And I think that would be a player that at least starts the year in the AHL and signs his contract. And if it falters, if it's not going well, he ends up back in the CHL and he would have been traded from Brampton to a contender and competing for Memorial Cup. Is that a bad thing?
It's not the end of the world. That's the way it's been for a long time.
And players have developed.
How many years, how many decades have we watched the World Juniors going, nothing's official, but when that kid goes back from Team Canada, we already know he's going to this team or that team. Like, it's done, right?
Yeah.
Like, we'll find you a competitive place to play.
And that's not the end of the world, because playing meaningful games, I know that Michigan State, they beat UConn on Thursday at the tournament. We'll see how they do. And those are meaningful games, but it's not playoffs.
No.
Playoffs are a different animal. One game
Playoffs.
one game do or die. It's stressful. It's got that anxiety level. But it's not a 7-game series where you are going out there and grinding and grinding and grinding against the same opponent, getting you ready. And that's where I love the CHL.
The CHL is the best in that, like, replicating what you'll see in pro hockey.
There's so many benefits to the NCAA. I don't want to sound like I'm hating on them, because I do think that it's good hockey and it's going to get better with players from the CHL going. But it's never been considered the best development league in the world. No. Not for schedule, not for play type, not for developing players. They get a lot of free agents signed.
Yeah.
Because they're 24 years old and they can go and play pro hockey right away. Whereas the CHL, well, a guy who graduates at 20 and signs a free agent contract, they likely are not going to be ready for at least 3 years, because they're still getting to the point where the NCAA guys are, who are graduating.
Right, yeah.
And then they've already expired on their entry-level contract and booted out of the league because they haven't reached the same point. So there's pluses and minuses, but I do think that the CHL will remain the best development league. And talking to scouts, it's the same type of thing. There's pros and cons of each side, but for schedule, for the play style, the play styles are completely different.
Of course.
And the CHL offers a little more creativity for the most part. There's the physicality, there's the fighting, there's everything about it, limited fighting, but there are differences, and I will continue to battle for this, and maybe I'll be on the losing side, I don't know, but I do think that the CHL will remain the best development path for players, and if that path goes the NCAA after, that's the next stage of the development.
I don't think there's anything. Look, if you own a CHL team, I guess you have the right to a different opinion. But I, as a fan, don't see a whole lot wrong with the idea that, the best American players might come up here now going, okay, I can play till I'm 18 and then go and do the NCAA thing, open up some options for these kids.
Yeah.
And then having, that was pretty obvious to the listener, eh? Like you heard the gravel building up in the throat. It happens. Look, I like the idea that there are options here. I like the idea that you can do, and I understand that I was an Oshawa Generals fan when John Tavares was there. I still am, but I still lived in Oshawa at the time when John Tavares was there. And look, they were bad in his last year, so he got shipped off to London. He wasn't ever coming back at 19 anyway. Yeah. Like the really top end guys are going to move on. And now if you give an option to that kid to go, well, now you could go to the NCAA if you want to do that, or if you're drafted in the first round, you could be sent to the AHL. You'll still get paid, and the ability will still be there for you to come back and play in the Memorial Cup if your team thinks that's better. I don't think options are bad, right? No. I think for these kids to have the ability to make have more flexibility in the decisions they want to make for their own future. I got no beef with that, man.
No, and trying to decide what you want to do at 15 years old.
Honestly.
For whether it be for university, trying to decide what you want to do.
Girl's doing. Like,
yes,
her. Like, and at 15,
I just want to play hockey.
Yeah,
and let me go play hockey at the highest level possible.
Right.
And that wasn't always the case. Now it is, and the onus is now on the CHL and individual teams to recruit
better
players.
Facilities.
Yeah, but recruit their own players.
Yeah,
and get them to stay.
Yep.
Because if you put out a winning product and a winning facility and everything else, there's not going to be the money. There will never be NCAA money in the CHL, but you can offer them other incentives and other things that they can get in their hockey career. And if they delay going to the NCAA by a year, is that the end of the world?
Right.
I don't think so. I think we're going to see a lot of players push back their commitments to the NCAA. They'll still go to school, but NCAA teams may not be as eager to take some of these guys at 17, 18.
Yeah.
Keaton Verhoff's a hell of a player.
Yep.
He's falling down some draft boards, playing against older, tougher competition at times.
Well, the Gavin McKenna of it all is fascinating, right? Like, he was supposed to be the, the canary in the coal mine, right? Like, get in there. Let's see what it looks like. And this was the Canadian kid in the CHL, lighting it up, setting records. He goes down there. He has a slow start. Then he punches out somebody who insults his mom, and now he's been killing it ever since. And I love that kid for that. Like, if nothing else, good for you, man. But he had a slow first half and then a killer second half. And so I still don't know if we know whether that was the best path for him or not, but it hasn't been a bad path for him. And that will maybe give some future CHL phenoms pause to be like, maybe the hype around me is best served if I stay here and keep lighting up Regina or whatever, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I honestly don't know where it's heading. I have a feeling, but we will not get results for 3 to 5 years about where this is truly heading.
Yes.
And then after that, we're going to have to wait until players' careers are essentially done. And then we still won't even know because it's still hypothetical.
Sure.
Oh, if he would have stayed in the CHL, he would have done this.
Worked for that guy.
Wouldn't have.
Work for that
There's
guy.
no chance.
Right.
Or,
yeah,
it's you're playing a what-if game.
100%.
All the time with this.
That's sports talk, right?
It is. But it's you can't go back in time and look at it differently. But I don't know. I find the debate fascinating. I find
do too, man.
the concept of it.
I have no opinion on it yet. I just find it fascinating, like you said. Like this is a major hinge point, a turning point, like we're going to see in the sport. Before we take a break here, let me ask you about whether you've noticed in this first year of this new agreement with the NCAA, and so Gavin McKenna has moved on, and like players like that, Porter Mortone, or like guys who could have come back but didn't. What's the vibe been like in terms of calling games? Have you noticed any significant change in the product that the OHL is selling right now based on the fact that some guys have had some options to move on? Or, have you spoken to fans or heard from fans who think that the product is diminished, or does it still feel pretty similar to you based year over year?
Watching the games, it feels relatively similar. We're instead of veteran superstars who light it up and can put up 150 points.
Sure, yeah.
We're seeing some younger kids like Thomas Vandenberg coming to the Ottawa 67s. He put up 50 points. That's a good rookie season for a 17-year-old. But if he were to stay until he's 19, there's a chance he puts up 120. That's the progression that players make.
Yep.
Odds are that he's committed to Providence, so odds are that he's going to be there at a 19-year-old season. Porter Martone this year would have lit up the OHL and put up over 100 points. Whereas what we have now, we did not have a 100-point scorer in the OHL for the first time since the 1960s or 70s.
Which is wild.
It's crazy. And the goaltending is better because you have more options. Players coming in, Ryder Fedorov for the 67s has been unbelievable, goalie of the year. There's a multitude of issues, but we're seeing less older superstars and more younger stars that have the ability to become superstars if they stay.
Yeah.
Now, that's the big question. Do they stay before they become superstars? I don't know. But that's the only real difference that I've seen. Everything else is the same. The play, the style,
Is there a calibration? Like, let's just use Ryder Fedorov as an example. Do we have to adjust? And I don't want to be an asshole about it, so I'm not going to use the term asterisk, but asterisk. Like, just the best shooters are gone. The 19-year, so the goalies look better. Like,
I do think the goalies look better. I don't want to take anything away from Ryder because
he's facing the competition that's in front of him. What's he going to do, right?
And he is the best goalie I've seen in a very long time at 17 years old into 18. I mean, this kid's standing 6 foot tall. I've seen him stand up, and he's got a little Craig Anderson to him. There's been a shot from inside the top of the circles. Let's call it closer to the face-off dot than top of the circles.
Okay.
A shot was released, and he stood on his skates and caught the puck. Didn't go down, didn't do anything, just knew where the shooter was going, caught the puck.
To me, that's a little Sean Burke, right? Like old school, way up there.
He's the smartest goalie I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
He's athletic. He's got the desperation saving him, but he reads the play so well. Teams are going to miss out, and they're going to not even look at him because he's under 6'2.5".
Yeah.
Which sucks.
No, now you got to be a monster.
You have to. One scout told me if you're not between 6'2.5" and 6'4", I'm not looking at you unless you give me a reason. They don't want the monsters.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't want the huge monsters, but they don't want the guys under 6'2.5".
Wow.
There's this specific range that they're looking at, and that's it. Maybe it was 6'5", but
still, that's so.
It's myopic.
In. Yeah,
it's myopic. Yeah. Like how do you do that? How do you not look at the best
6'1.5". Nope, not interested.
Yeah,
okay.
And so I believe that Fedorov has given him an option. But yes, you're missing the best shooters.
UC Soros? No. All right. Well, that's on you. I guess.
Somebody's going to get him.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the league as a whole and the goaltending as a whole, it has improved.
Yeah.
It's gotten better.
Yeah. Well, if you delete the 100-point scorers, then the defensive
and that's part of it as well. And across the league, we're seeing scoring down. The 67s only gave up 166 goals in 68 games this year.
Yeah. Okay.
That's part of the reason. But from watching a game-by-game basis, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. There's still opportunities.
Sure,
there's still scoring chances. They're still up and down the ice. It's still predictably unpredictable, as the great Dave Schreiber would say. It's junior hockey. It's awesome. And I've really enjoyed the year. Maybe it's because the 67s picked up 100 points.
Yeah.
But it's been a fun year seeing all the new players come in, the turnover, and as you said before, more opportunity for some of these players who never saw it before.
Yeah.
Never would have considered coming up to the OHL.
Because it closes their NCAA window. Now it doesn't.
Now it doesn't. Yeah. There's more options.
Yeah, no, I've got family members down in Oshawa who, long-time season ticket holders or box holders, wherever they didn't really get their money's worth this year.
Were they why the email went out?
No.
Oh.
No, we were not those people. Although, got plenty of mail and responses to this show. Hey, are these your generals? Are these your... And that was a tough moment for the Oshawa General fan base.
The Generals were in Ottawa when that email went out.
So for anyone who's missed this, nobody missed this. It was, hey, you Gens fans, you stink. Like, please shower. Please, whatever.
You smell like urine. You need to go shower. Shower before you come to the game.
So that came out while they were here.
While they were in Ottawa, and Jack Moore, the play-by-play radio guy. Did you see it? What are they doing?
Honest to God.
Yeah, it was. I mean, how many complaints do you have to get?
This is it. This
before
was not
you send the email.
One fan. No. This was not one complaint. This was a thing. And the best part of it, even for me as an Oshawa guy, was watching replies to Oshawa Twitter hockey. Or hockey Twitter, where people are like, it's that guy in white down in the corner. You're like, oh God, like you're turning on each other. There are candidates here who are the problem. Yeah, not good. But I haven't heard anybody say, Oshawa, of course, the quality of hockey was down this year, but that the general OHL level of hockey coming through the building was down this year. I didn't have anybody say that to me, right? Like that the NCAA thing really hurt the product, which was always the big fear, right? Was that if all these top guys leave, it'll hurt the product. And I can't imagine it helped the product, but I haven't heard much from people who've said, oh man, no, it's way worse now.
Yeah, as much as I say that they're missing the top end talent, there's not a lot that bolted. No, you're looking at Luke Misa, Michael Misa's brother, went to Penn State. Lev Katzen was with the Guelph Storm. He went to Penn State. You had Porter Martone. You had Jack Ivankovic, the goalie. Mm-hmm. And I know there's others,
sure, but everything's relative, right? If my top forward leaves and your top defenseman league and someone else's top goalie leaves, I don't know who got hurt worse.
Yeah, there wasn't that much. There were a lot of commitments, but man, I know the WHL got hit harder than the OHL did, and the Brampton Steelheads got hit harder than anybody losing
Cornwall.
Yeah, losing 3 big players, and that's you. I am not saying that Brampton's going to Cornwall.
It's only one side of the table who is saying that. Good listener.
So I don't know. Looking back on it, I'd have to check all my notes because I try and keep track of everything. But now I'm reflecting on it. I don't think that a ton of players bolted. There was a lot of graduations, obviously, going to pro hockey, but many of the players had also signed contracts because they didn't know.
No.
So a guy like Jake O'Brien, who put up over 1.5 points a game, led the league in points per game, was outstanding. Cole Baudouin, the Connecticut, was unbelievable. And had he played a full year, he was well over 100 points. And he's going to be a really good player for Utah down the road. So there's exceptions to this.
Sure.
But we didn't see that star overager who maybe left that I can't think of, or the breakout guy put up 100 points, which you weren't expecting. We didn't see the Ty Felibers who came out and scored 58 goals in a season. Yeah. These are the guys that we didn't see this year who may have gone to the NCAA, which is a shame, but it's understandable.
100%. Why don't we take a break here? I still got a bunch of stuff I want to talk to you about. I haven't even asked you yet about the playoffs that are kicking off this weekend. I actually want to pick your brain as well on the Ottawa Charge, and they're thinking about moving out to Canada, what that did when the 67s tried it. We'll get into a couple of things here after we take a break. Stick around and subscribe to the Tall Can Audio Podcast, wherever you're hearing us right now.
Hey, I got a hockey record. I took my skate off and tried to stab somebody, and I'm the only guy who ever did that.
All right, we're back in here. Still tons to cover with our buddy Kenny Walls from TSN 1200 and the Ottawa 67's play-by-play crew. Bit of a rookie move. Guy already cracked his beer. What do you grab this time, man?
I know. I feel like such a douche. Sasquatch Snitch.
Yeah.
I can't say it. Schnitzel. Yeah, Kitchissippi beer. I'm looking forward to this. I opened it, but I did not take a sip, saving that.
There's something. There's something
not
to
a complete moron.
On. That one comes from a bet that I won from our buddy Bunda. Often UFC bets between he and I on a Saturday.
Yeah, he's kind of dumb, though, so you're okay.
He was dumb on this one. Shevchenko beats his girl Zhang Wei Li, and he owed me 6 beers, and that was one of them. We should shout out once more. Paul Meek and the crew there over at Kitchissippi, they did close up shop here over the last couple of weeks. Terrific beers, and Paul is an awesome guy, a community-minded guy. It was sad to see them kind of shutting it down, but they made terrific beers, and so honestly, man, that's a piece of history you got in your hand. It's one of their last beers being doled out. So
that's delicious.
Yeah. For me, this is the good listeners heard me talk about this a time or two before. The Great Lakes Brewery Octopus wants to fight. We like that guy. We like that beer. We like that brewery. So that's what I'm riding with on this side of the table. Let me ask you something here, man. I'm curious about your take as a guy who has had a close eye on junior hockey around the OHL for a while now. We're hearing rumblings, but still nothing official about the PWHL and a new deal with the Sens. And I think, in a lot of ways, that's what everyone expected would happen once the PWHL said we're not really interested in this downscaled arena that's being built for the 67s. We won't play in the new building. And I didn't love that because I thought, you don't have to play there long term, but I don't like boxing yourself in. I don't like eliminating options for yourself. I would have, if it were me, said, this won't work for us long term, but downtown's, honestly, a better location, the TD Place there, than what the Sens have right now. But the Sens are getting ready in the next couple of years to break ground and build a new arena out there at
LeBreton Flats.
This is it.
Yeah, and a big move today with the agreement with the Anishinaabe Nation, and
yes,
it's another step in the right direction
100%.
For that.
And I think that made sense. I think this is the future of the Ottawa Charge, is to end up where the Sens end up. But when you say I won't play at this new one, you sort of put a timetable on yourself that you didn't need to. And now it's kind of created this situation where until that new Sens building at LeBreton is ready, you may go out and play in Canada. And I just, as a Charge fan, I don't love it, man. I get why you'd be annoyed. I get why you'd be frustrated. I get why you don't like the downscaled seating that's going to be at the new TD Place arena. But you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to go out to Canada yet. As someone who called games or at least I assume you were on the mic. I don't know if you were on the mic when the 67s had to make the move based on the last time there were adjustments and renovations made to the building. Do you think this works for the Charge? Do you think this hurts their attendance? It is temporary, but what do you make of the idea of the Ottawa Charge having to go out and play at Canadian and it feels like I'm painting the question. Like, what do you think is going to happen when they have to go all the way out to Canada? But what do you make of it?
Well, first of all, I view this as a PWHL corporate situation as opposed to the Charge.
Can we get a local owner soon, somewhere? Anybody? No? Okay.
Because I don't feel that they... I mean, to say that we will never... And it's just we won't. We will never play a game at the new arena.
Box yourself in.
You don't give yourself an out at all. And I did not like that. No. I want the Charge to be successful.
Same.
And I also know that a 6,500 seat stadium is what was needed for this market, because are the Charge the number one tenant?
No.
Are the Ottawa 67s the number one tenant? No.
Ooh.
Concerts.
Yeah.
And if concert promoters want a 6,500 seat stadium with 7,500 with standing room, guess what? As the number one tenant, they're probably going to get it because they needed that mid-sized venue that wasn't 10,000, because you know what? It's probably a little bit too big for us. We can't do 13.
We got comedians. We got Our Lady Peace. We got the Trues.
You're the mid-size because you have, what's it called? History? Is that what it is?
Sure.
The new one that used to be the chapters.
Oh, yeah. It is. It's called Ottawa History or something. Right there in the, right
so
on
that
in
one's
the
the small venue.
Yes, 2,000 seats.
Then you have your medium venue.
You want to go? I just saw the Wallflowers. Going to be the no? Oh.
No. And then you have your big venue right now at the CTC.
Shut down, everybody.
Absolutely, you were. No, I don't. I'm not. I don't leave my house unless I'm going out for hockey.
All right. I'm going to send you the best selfie from the Wallflowers.
I can't wait. That'll be fun. I like looking at pictures
of Matt.
Does it? Everybody does. You better be drunk off your ass, though.
Oh man, goes without saying.
Yes. So you have your small, medium, and big venue.
That's drunk at chapters again.
Again. I want to see before and after with the books and after the books. I don't care whether it's AI generated or not. And so if the concert promoters want that, in my opinion, that's what is going to happen because they are the number one tenant.
Okay.
The 67s have 34 dates a year guaranteed.
Yep.
The Ottawa Charge, well, right now you're anywhere between 10 and 13, 14 with all the out-of-market games. If they go up and expand again, well, guess what? There's going to be more neutral site games.
Yeah.
So
Can we stop that, though?
But they're not.
No.
They're not anytime soon. So you can't guarantee any more than, let's say, 13 games.
I think right now, is the season not 45, 48 games?
It's 30.
It's 30. Okay, there you go.
It's 30 games.
And like you said, now you factor in the tour games that they do and the what.
And they're playing, right now they're playing 2 games out of the CTC already.
Yeah.
So now you're down to 13.
And you know what it does to me, man? Let's say the PWHL twists the arm on everybody and says, this has got to be a 10,000 seat building. The moment that the PWHL can sell 10,001 tickets, they're going to the New Sens building anyway. Like, you can't ask the taxpayer to build you this thing that you're not committed to long term. They're a business.
Yeah.
Right?
The way to get around this is to become a partner. And they were unwilling to become a partner in the new building. And as much as I want to see the PWHL succeed, there has to be a give and a take.
You have to be committed here too.
Yes, if you sign a lease, they weren't willing, as far as I know, they weren't willing to sign a lease beyond a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so when that becomes the case, if you're OSEG, if you're the city, you can't change plans to go from 6,500 to 13,000 or to 10,000.
Well, and this is why you bring up the right point, man, that this is a corporate office.
Yes, this is not the Charge.
This is for people who aren't familiar, these teams are all owned by the league. This is one front office. You don't have a local owner to deal with, to be a partner with, to build and, okay, what do you envision in the future? No, it's just, build us what we want and we might stick around.
Yeah, we're not going to give you any money.
We won't commit to it.
We're not going to invest any money in the building.
The owner of the PWHL can afford it.
Yes, he can.
He could have helped.
So now you get into potentially moving.
Yeah.
And this is where supply and demand comes into factor huge. I wanted to go into economics. I don't understand it very much because I didn't, but I wanted to. And I do know that supply and demand is a thing.
Yep.
And when you have a 9,000 seat rink right now that you fill up on weekends, that you get 6,000, 6,500 on weekdays.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
That's wonderful. To go to an 18,000 seat rink is going to be incredibly difficult. And the Ottawa 67s, before they moved and after the 11-12 season, their crowds weren't at the same level as what the Charge are, but they were good. Went out to the CTC and they started getting 2,000.
That's so hard, man.
And even when they got a good crowd, they would get, let's say, 5,000. It looks empty.
It sucks.
It's awful. And the Charge
I grew up an Argos guy in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
At the Dome.
Oh, it's terrible.
If you had 22,000 people, and I'm not saying they always did, but if you had 22,000 people at the Dome, that's a perfectly respectable or CFL crowd. It looks like shit in a 50,000 seat building.
Even the Jays, when they were struggling, they had 18,000 out. It looks fucking awful.
It stinks, man. It stinks.
And so the perception becomes that this is not worth going to.
Yeah.
And, I can get a ticket anytime. I don't have to get season tickets. I don't have to buy in advance, which is what all teams want, which is why saying we will never play at this new rink is so mind-blowing to me because clearly they know supply and demand. They are very successful business people. And to say this, even if the new rink was 6,500 people, the demand that you create
Gotta get my
playing
tickets.
there.
Gotta get it right now.
Have to get season tickets in order to ensure that we see the Charge play is crucial. And then it becomes the demand. You get a waiting list, and the demand goes up and up and up and up.
Whereas that's a Percival Stadium back when they moved in there. Yeah, it's a university stadium. Yeah, it's a whatever. But like fuck, that's sold out. Look at that vibe. Like, look at these people. That's incredible. Instead of same thing at the Big O, you're like, no. Like,
I love the Charge. I love dealing with Carla McLeod. I love watching the women play. It is an incredibly entertaining product that delivers.
At a corporate level, though, this is being mishandled.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I'm around the 67, so I have a particular point of view, and I understand that. But I'm trying to approach it from a common sense level in my mind, and it doesn't jive, because you need a bigger rink. They have the ability to sell more tickets, but to go out to a place that is almost twice the size of your average ticket sale could be incredibly detrimental. Well, even though the Ottawa Charge
Saturday
fans,
night, man, Sens and Leafs didn't sell out.
Well, the Leafs weren't allowed to get in.
Well,
or they didn't want to go see their team play.
I'm a Leaf fan. I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But Sens fans didn't want it, and that game was big for them. Like, it's hard to sell out a building that size, and I'm not ripping on Sens fans. Like, they show up when it matters, right? And it's hard if the weather's shit and it's far out west, and it's totally different than going to this great spot downtown. And I get it. If you think the new building is not going to be up to standard, you can stand up and you can say, look, this doesn't work for us long term. Like, this is not going to be viable, but we'll stay here until the new Sens building is ready downtown. Like, you can create that lease, that short-term and opportunity, and you didn't do it. And now you're going to ask your fans to go out to Canada. Some of these fans are Sens fans and Charge fans. Most likely, a lot of these people are both. Are they going out extra times per week? If it's snowing, if it's cold as hell, it's a tough ask, man.
It's not a one-off. You're looking at multiple times a year. And it's not, again, you're probably playing between 12 and maybe the schedule gets up to 40. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're looking at between 12 and 20 games.
Yeah.
That's a lot of tickets to be sold when you have one of the most loyal fan bases that I've seen come into this market. Yep. It is unbelievable, the fan base that the Charge have, but that's a long way to go. And the transportation is not always easy. And when the base of your fan support right now is in that downtown core, to ask them to move and to get out west is a big ask. So,
and as we've both kind of suggested now, this is a problem created by league corporate for themselves. You've boxed yourself in a little bit in a way that you didn't have to, right? Yeah. You could still take a stand without boxing yourself out here a little bit.
I think so. I think there was a more diplomatic way to go about it besides saying we will never play in this new arena.
We are staring down 67's Frontenacs for the first time since the 80s. Do I have that?
Early 80s, not just 80s. Yeah. 1981. I was not even a thought. I don't think my parents had met at that point in time.
This feels like what should be a natural big-time rivalry, right? 67s and Frontenacs, just geographically speaking, until the Cornwall Royals roll back into... or the Cornwall Battalion, or whatever they're going to be called.
Better not be the Cornwall Battalion. Cornwall Colonels.
At this point, I'm just poking at Brampton people. Look, this feels like it should be a bigger rivalry than it is. What's the vibe for you like as this series fires up? As somebody who, look, I'm sure in the regular season there is some level of rivalry between them, just geographically speaking. But this is the first time we've seen this playoff matchup in a long time. Why isn't it a bigger rivalry than it is right now? And, what's the level of anticipation like between these two markets in your mind?
Well, the reason why it isn't is 1981.
Yeah.
It's hard to build up a rivalry when you don't meet in the playoffs. Yeah. And there's been a lot of times where Ottawa's been good and Kingston has been average or lesser than, and vice versa. Kingston was in a go-for-it year last year and Ottawa wasn't.
Right.
So there's been beating up on the other team. There's been some lopsided seasons. And there just hasn't been the juice that we've seen with Oshawa or Peterborough or even Niagara with the Ottawa 67s, where there's been a little bit extra. Yeah. They meet 8 times a year, and there's not that rivalry built in. I don't have a real explanation for it. The coaches have gotten needed before, but watching
Ottawa doesn't
all these
hate
games,
Lawson Krause. Is this
I mean, Lawson Krause and Travis Konechny are best friends, so it's not like
I guess, yeah.
it's not like they played minor hockey together. It's not like they were going to go out there and start beef with each other. And I think that they play too often. You get friendly.
Often.
You get friendly.
Yeah, okay.
To a certain extent, when there's not that initial or a playoff rivalry to get things started. To me, if you just play games. Yeah, okay.
You're just another one on the schedule.
Just, okay, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's there's not that much there. They played 7 times before the OHL trade deadline, only once since. So maybe there's something brewing in this playoff series, and then we'll see it carry over. But playoffs build that hatred.
Of course.
And it builds that rivalry. So I'm looking forward to it. The Frontenacs are a good team. They're well coached by Troy Mann, former Belleville Senators head coach. They're I'm trying to figure out a delicate way to phrase this.
Don't do that here. This is
because they're a good team, but they are very similar to the Ottawa 67s. They just don't have that high end talent or the older talent that maybe Ottawa does. Like I think Ottawa players are just better.
Bad, you're saying?
No.
Oh, that was the diplomatic thing you were trying to go around, right?
No, they're a good team. They just they're not as good as what Ottawa was during the regular season, but they play a similar style. They have 2 good goaltenders. They don't allow a lot. Troy Mann's a great coach, and it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a slugfest in this first round series because Kingston was the most disciplined team in the OHL. They had less than 600 penalty minutes.
So you don't expect this to come off as a rivalry series yet. Like this has to be built now.
Maybe. No, it's not going to start that way. And everybody, well, not every, having watched the OHL for a long time and playoffs in general, that first game, first period is the peak. That's the physical peak that you're going to see for the most part.
Man, you got a bunch of 18-year-olds just wound up tight going, let me at them, right?
Some playing
I'm
going to
send a message right now.
Yeah, I'm going to send a message. Coach told me to go out there and send a message. I'm going to go send a message. I'm going to send a message. And guys are running through the wall. I'm anticipating a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And then it kind of settles down. Everybody starts playing hockey again. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm expecting that out of Kingston because they are so disciplined, because that's not necessarily the game that they play. They're not the most physical brand of team, but they do have some jam because they need to play that way to play the defensive style that Troy Mann demands. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know what to expect from a style point of view. Ottawa's the better team. Yeah. They proved that throughout the course of the regular season. It's a 3-6 matchup, and Ottawa had 100 points for a reason.
Yep.
They're a good team. But Kingston should give them a test. I think it's going to go 5. Mm-hmm. I think that most of the games are going to be tight.
It's funny, because when you look at the geographical thing, it's odd that this hasn't become more of a rivalry. But we've sort of covered that here, and I'm sort of curious as you look at this. Give me a matchup, goalie versus goalie, or center versus center, right winger versus left defender, like where this could be decided one way or another. If this guy steps up on this guy, and that lasts for 5 or 6 games, the series is over. Like, what's kind of the matchup that you'll be looking at here to tee up?
Well, the one guy that I'm going to be looking at for Kingston is Malik McGowan. He's an overager defenseman. This kid is one of my favorite players to watch. He's been in a couple fights against the 67s over his years. One against Caden Kelly, who's a stocky, thick kid. He's like 5'11", 200 pounds. He knows how to throw. And the other was against Chris Barlis, a local Ottawa guy who is very similar stature. He knows he's one of the better fighters. He was one of the better fighters for this age group. Mm-hmm. Well, Malik McGowan grabbed a hold of them, and they couldn't move. He is the strongest pound-for-pound player in the league. He hits like a truck. He's got speed. He's got some offensive instincts. He could be the X factor in the series. If he takes over and Ottawa doesn't have an answer, that could be trouble.
Yeah.
But he's a kid that should sign an NHL free agent contract. He hasn't committed anywhere. He went to Montreal camp in the summer, and that was his first training camp ever. Shockingly, he's a great kid in the room. I don't know how he hasn't gotten more recognition than he has, but he could be a guy to keep an eye on because he can impact the game in all sorts of different ways. The 67s, though, have a number of those types of players who don't mind being involved physically, who have hands, who can score, who can do a little bit of everything.
In a couple of ways.
Yeah. So I think there's a response from the 67s to whatever Kingston can do. And I think that's where Ottawa has the advantage, is that Kingston doesn't have enough bullets in the chamber for what Ottawa can do.
Sure.
Ottawa has a bulletproof vest for everything that Kingston can throw at them, in my opinion. And maybe that's wrong, but the goaltending battle should be a great one. Gavin Betts and Matthew Minchak for the Kingston Frontenacs were a really good duo, one of the better duos in the league. I just don't think they have enough to get the job done.
Let me ask you, if you are, and look, you watch a lot of hockey. I don't know. Maybe when you're off the clock, you don't want to watch a whole lot more hockey. But if this series isn't going on and you've got time to sit down and watch another series here in the first round across the OHL, what do you think the best matchup is? What's going to have your attention?
The 4-5 matchups on both sides. Yeah. So that's the Peterborough Petes and the North Bay Battalion. And in the West, it's London at home against Sault Ste. Marie. And the reason why those are the two, well, Peterborough is one of the better home teams in the league.
This is a dump, and you bring people in and force them to play.
Yeah, it's terrible. They got square corners, for God's sakes.
Why is the Queen looking at me like that?
Is the Queen there?
I don't even know if she's still
Queen's
there.
No. North Bay is the only one that I can remember that still had the Queen up. I don't think they've switched over to the King. I don't know.
Nobody wants that guy looking down at you either.
Probably not.
No.
So both teams are very good on home ice. They play a similar style. If Peterborough takes the lead, they're not really interested in playing hockey a whole lot anymore. They flip the puck in, go chase. If they don't retrieve it, they retreat to the... And that's the way the game's played now. I get it. But they play a 5-man trap, and they're very effective in it. And if Rob Wilson gets buy-in to that, they have the potential to be dangerous. Maybe not to the same extent that they were in 2023 when they won the OHL championship.
Simpson took them all the way to the...
But it could be effective in a first-round series. Yeah. North Bay doesn't have the offensive firepower necessarily, but they're a really good defensive team. They are good at home. It would be if North Bay was at home and was the 4 seed, I'd probably take them. Peterborough's at home looking in their direction, and they probably have more high-end talent. And Adam Novotny, who's a potential top 10, top 20 pick, and Kieran Walton, who was a 6th-round pick of the Winnipeg Jets, who's massive. He's 6'6". He was one of the leading point producers in the league. He's a good player. So that would be one. The other is the London Sioux series. Now, Sault Ste. Marie went out and bought at the trade deadline. Yeah. They picked up Carter George, World Junior goalie, and London sold. They sold off Sam O'Reilly and
they don't do that too often.
Jared Woolley.
Oh, okay.
The defenseman to Kitchener. Then they don't do that often. No. It wasn't a big sell. It was 2 players and Julian Brown to Owen Sound, I believe. It was a very minor sell. Mm-hmm. But they got a boatload of picks and they got some players. Well, London ended up beating Sault Ste. Marie in the standings.
Yeah.
London is the higher seed and have home ice advantage. The X factor could come down to Carter George. He's never won a playoff game in his OHL career, and there's a good he will in this series.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Sault Ste. Marie's a good team. London, though, it's the Hunter factor. They're intimidating. Mm-hmm. Intimidating. That was really weird how I said that.
Oddly, almost like a French accent.
Yeah, I don't know how that came out. But they've got an aura about them. It's Budweiser Gardens. You're going.
Sure.
It's got that feel to it.
Yeah.
Anytime you go to London, and I don't know whether Sault Ste. Marie feels the same way, but anytime the 67s go in, there's an awe. It's staring up at this giant jumbotron. This is like an NHL barn.
Yeah, 100%, man.
And the visiting locker room isn't anything special. There's nothing to it. It's a rink. Go out there and play. But there's that.
It's in your head before you even start, man.
And so it's the London Knights, and that one's a flip 'em, a coin flip to me.
Oshawa fan. I've Never seen that play out, the London intimidation. Never had my ass kicked for 2 straight years.
No,
that's final.
Wonderful to see.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 best series. The top 3 seeds should be moving on either side.
Yeah.
I don't. There will be some fireworks.
There always is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And somebody will surprise. Like, it's teenage hockey. Somebody will stumble, but
no, not
in this round. But as we move through,
like it typically the OHL is the opposite of what we see in the NHL, where the rounds get better in the OHL. Mm-hmm. The further you go, okay, you've weeded out some
against your Ottawa Generals.
You've weeded out some. And now the second round is really good. Third round, conference finals, generally great.
Yes.
The NHL, the first round is electric.
Yep.
Because everybody's healthy, everybody's going full tilt.
And then it ramps down.
And then it kind of wanes out a little bit.
Come back up a little, but for a while it does ramp.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this round, obviously. But in all honesty, that second round, if the top 3 seeds advance and whoever comes out of the 4 or 5, that second round is going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Last thing for you then, man, before we wrap up, I would be remiss. I should tell the good listener for context's sake, you and I are chatting before we have seen what happens in the Sens-Penguins game here on Thursday night. But man, the Sens have been hot, and they have put themselves back in a playoff spot. The Penguins all of a sudden are like in trouble. Like they have let Columbus pass them. Everything is so tight for 5, 6, 7 teams kind of in this race right now. The Islanders, the Blue Jackets, the Red Wings, the Senators. I'm just curious, man. What have you made of how hot they've been since the Olympics? How sustainable it is knowing that at the moment, Chabot is out, Sanderson is out. I don't know, like all kinds of defensemen are out. We think Sanderson isn't far off. Is what they're doing sustainable now that they have a spot? I'm going to stop setting the table for you. I'm going to stop presenting context for you. Just tell me what you think of where they're at right now.
Is it sustainable for a year to be missing 5 out of your top 11 defensemen? No. But
Can it be for a week?
Yeah. For a week or 3?
Yeah.
The way that Travis Green has this team playing, the structure that they play with is absolutely incredible. There are layers after layers after layers to this team. So if there's one mistake, that's within the system because somebody is there to follow up. And it's incredible to watch from that point of view. The game against the Rangers where the Rangers' only goal was a Shane Pinto mistake. And how often can you say that Shane Pinto...
That's the guy that's going to make the mistake.
Made a defensive lapse where his stick was just on the wrong side and he missed his man.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you give up 10 shots.
Yeah.
10 shots over the course of a game.
It was 9 till everybody got cranky in the office the next morning.
Yeah, raise a banner. 10 shots. And then the game against Detroit, you allow more shots, but you get out to the 3-0 lead. And the part that would concern me is the comeback. And there's been a few of those where I think a number of players have used the term pissed away points.
Yes. It's a great term.
It is. It really is. But Steve Stajos did as well. They've done that throughout the season, but they were able to hold on against Detroit. You allow a team 10 shots and you only win by 1. It's that next goal that has me just a little bit concerned, but I love the way that they play because it is structured, but it's not hang on for dear life for the most part. When they get into the third period, for some reason it evolves to that or devolves to that, but their forecheck.
Devolves is the right term, right? Like it's score effects, right? Any team with a lead will sit back, and the Sens have had a lead often enough, and they sit back and they defend well.
But I hate the fact that they don't stay up there because their neutral zone is unbelievable. Their forecheck in the offensive zone. The Warren Fogle goal against against New York, is a perfect example of that because it's the pressure on the initial player causes them to turn the puck over. You get into a scoring position because you have layers. Again, layers because Eller's coming in perfect position to intercept the clearing and find you backdoor for the shot. That's the type of hockey I love to see.
Well, the whole thing has been all year. Like they play well, but they can't get a save.
Yeah.
And now they're getting the save. is he just on a hot streak, or is he refound his game when we talk about Allmark? Like, where you at with the goaltending?
I don't know whether he's refound his game.
Yeah.
I don't want to go that
thing.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
there was a game.
Because they've been this good most of the year.
Yeah.
It's just not been able to get a save. And if they're going to consistently get a save now, they're not going to fall back out.
No.
Like, they are going to make the playoffs, and they're going to be a problem. But if this is just a hot week or two, and then he goes back to, it's tough, man. And I don't know either. I have no idea where he's at right now.
The way that he finished that game against Detroit is extremely positive because he was unbelievable in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
there was hard. Yeah.
There was a sequence, I forget what game it was, but it wasn't too long ago, where the initial shot of the game, I don't know whether he made a save or it got blocked out in front, but he just stayed in his position.
You don't
with
look quite right. Yeah.
One pad down and one off to the side, the old school goaltending technique.
Sure.
And he didn't move, and the puck squirted off to his left, and he watched it. You could see him look at it, and then and it wasn't even by him. It was still out in front of him. He had the opportunity to move, and then it was a delayed reaction. Okay, I should move over, but then it was an awkward ball hockey shuffle. And it's just, those are the things that cause me a little bit of concern with him. And to say that he's maybe not back to Vezina Trophy
he's
winning.
He's a Vezina winner. But
I
don't know.
I'm at a crossroads with goaltending because we talked about Ryder Fedorov earlier and how much I like him because he actually goes out and makes a save. To me, there are far too many goalies that depend on the puck to hit them. And they're not blockers necessarily. Yeah. They're not the old school J.S. Giguère.
Come at the puck.
But they allow the puck to hit them, and only then do they react to it. I forget who it was, but we had somebody on the show, a goalie, and I asked, where do you rank hockey IQ or goalie IQ on your list of attributes that you like? And it wasn't high. And I'm like, how is that possible? How do you not want to read the play and be in position to make the save?
Right.
I'd rather have a Craig Anderson in net all day long over somebody who is big and it has the same numbers, but just blocks pucks or just lets pucks hit them. Because I want a goalie who has the ability to go out there and make a difference.
Well, you almost want that guy who isn't good in the AHL because it's too scrambly, right? Like, he understands what that play was supposed to look like, and he's there. And in the NHL, he was in the right spot, and that play did get made, and he blocked it properly, right? Like, it's
there's a difference. I love talking about goaltending, but it's frustrating because I see the direction it's going. I see the
6'7".
I see.
I know.
I see the. And
I'm
as
a Leaf
tall
fan.
guy,
We got 3 of those.
Yeah, as a tall guy, it would have been great for me to come up in that era, in this era. But it's not just about height and blocking ability. Shooters are smart, and there's a reason why we're seeing a 20 or 30-year low in save percentage.
Yeah.
And yes, they're recounting shots and they're taking shots off the board. I get that. And shooters are being more selective. You know why shooters are being more selective? Because they know where the damn goalie's going to be, because every goalie is taught to do the same thing. Oh, if shooter's shooting from there, go into the reverse VH, and we're going to block it here. Oh, you know where he's going to shoot? Right by your head. Every time.
It's no different than any other sport, right? Like, when you look at, I know what this defense is going to do in the NFL, then the quarterback's going to throw this pass instead of the one that, it's...
We'll see a rebound in goaltending, and there won't be a
100%.
massive adjustment, but you have to allow the natural talent of these guys to come through. And I think we saw, I know that, who was on? It was MJ this morning on Mike Johnson on TSN Mornings that was saying that coaches now are not coaching the skill out of players. When he was referring to Carter Yakimchuk and the play between his legs. Yeah. You're not coaching that out of players
That's not
necessarily.
the safe play, just dump it in.
Yeah,
don't do that.
I get the sense that they're kind of doing that with goalies.
Yeah.
Where you're not relying on instincts. You're not relying on your hockey or goalie IQ. You're relying on, this is my preset. I need to go from here to here to here in order to make this save. Well, you didn't make the save, but I should have made the save. It should have hit me. because I did this
Right.
in order, and it should have hit me. Well, there's an instinctual
work
thing
that
to
way,
it as
man.
well. So I don't know. I know there's a lot of good goalies, and this started with Linus Ullmark, and I think there's a little bit of that to his game. I think he's at the elite level of it,
Yeah.
but there's a little bit of Stuart Skinner to his game. There's a little bit.
Oh, nobody wants to hear that.
No, but no, he's a much better version of what Stuart Skinner is.
Right.
But that's what Stuart Skinner does. There's a certain, if you look at the stylistic
And when you
technique of
look
them
at the
both-
save percentages, right? Like if the Sens are going to give up that few shots, then your goalie's save percentage is probably going to be lower, right? Like other shooters are going to get fewer cracks at him, but they're going to be more selective in their shots. Like, I don't know. I think the Sens are going to be okay if he's now. This is it. Is he back? Or
Be
is he in a
average.
hot? That's all they need. That's
Be
all they
average.
need, man.
Stop the stoppables. As the great JR
Shout out
says.
JR. Right.
Stop the stoppables.
Yes.
That's what it is. And went deep on the goaltending, and I'm not a goalie. I used to be a goalie, and it was a terrible one. I think I have a decent eye for it, but I'm not a goalie coach. But the goalie coaches that I have talked to say the same type of thing. They want to see more instinctual habits develop.
Did it look to you like Dominic Hasek, who for me is the greatest goaltender of all time, was just perfectly set in a butterfly and was 6'8"? No, he was making crazy ass throw my heel up behind my head and kick something out.
But even the butterfly goalies of that era had to be smart. They had to know where the puck was coming from, going to. And yes, you would get beat on a slap shot from the half wall because guys were ripping it and you were tiny. But those are the trade-offs. But they knew what they were doing. And goalies are as athletic, as big as they've ever been, and yet the save percentage is at an all-time low. And I don't just credit the shooters. I think that the goalies have to
there's
adapt
something going on there
a little
for
bit as well.
that's a whole other show, I think. And I'm not sure you and I are going to be the ones who crack that wide open and figure out what
No,
the
but we can
problem
debate
is.
it, and we can throw
100%.
shit against the wall
We
all
can
day
drink
long.
beer and talk about it, and that's how that's going to go. We'll wrap it up here. Look, on Friday night, it is the 67s and Frontenacs, Friday and Sunday.
Friday and Sunday. Both tickets available for both games.
There you go. And then Tuesday, Thursday down in Kingston, I believe. Skeleton Brewery. Check it out, man, if you get some time. I know you are too scared to get off the bus in downtown Oshawa. I think Kingston's safe. Like
Hey. Playoff series against the Generals. We'd stay downtown. There was a Wendell Clark's right there. It was
there was.
awesome.
Yeah.
And we went to a place called the General, of all places.
Mm-hmm.
That was an interesting crowd.
Don't go behind it, but go in it. It's fine.
Oh, what's behind it?
Well, the sign says coffee time. In Oshawa, it's kind of known as the crack time. But, it's, everything's fine.
It's no longer there. I know that it was shut down because we wanted to go back because when we went the first time, there was a Screamo karaoke going on. And it was awesome. It was great. We just sat in the back.
What's your favorite Screamo band?
I don't know. I don't have one, but we really enjoyed it. One of the guys who actually now works with the Winnipeg Jets.
I think Alexis on Fire is from Whitby, I think.
Really?
Okay. Maybe. The GTA, I think I'm claiming them. No, it's not Alexis on Fire. It's Protest the Hero, which is a much scaled down.
Yeah, I don't know if that is. Sorry, Protest on Fire?
That may... Sure. Protest the Hero.
No, Protest the Hero.
From
Sorry.
Whitby. From Whitby, Ontario.
So one of the guys actually ordered fish and chips from this place at like 1 o'clock.
Oh, no.
And we're like, what are you doing?
Nobody wants
this
one of
is
him
great.
fish.
Yeah, this is great. Nobody else ate. This guy's eating fish and chips. And he's in the NHL now. Without playing, but
No.
Fun.
That sunk him. One night in South Oshawa ends your career, folks. Keep that in mind. We'll wrap it up here. Kenny Walls, this was fun, man. Thank you so much for coming in. Look, you were out at CTC all afternoon. Made the time to do the kind of, I don't know, the circle. It's not the circle. It's the.
So it's a loop. It's a U. I did
a U, I guess, is the
maybe. I started off in Limoges.
Yeah.
Went to 87 George Street. CTV Morning Live in the morning.
Look at this guy.
Yeah,
TV guy.
Terrible. The blonde hair really shone. That one's a great one. And then CTC.
Yeah.
After a quick bite to eat.
Then
here.
TCA.
And then back to Limoges.
Okay. Yeah, the detour. We appreciate the detour.
It's been fun, man.
Yeah, all right. We'll wrap it up here. It's going to be a fun series. It's way overdue. 67s and Frontenacs. This should be fantastic. Like in Ottawa, Friday and Sunday, Tuesday and Thursday down in Kingston. Check it out. It's going to be great. Baseball Friday night, Saturday, well, almost every day now till September. That's going to be fun too. If you missed it in our last episode, Arden Zwelling from Sportsnet was here to tee up the Blue Jays season. So all kinds of stuff. I know a lot of people talk about October, September being the best time of the year for sports, right? You get the NFL starting up, hockey starting up, basketball starting up. I like this time of year better. You get hockey playoffs and hard drives. NBA, same thing. Opening day for baseball is better than opening night for hockey. It just, I don't know. I prefer this one.
F1's back.
Yeah.
A little bit earlier. Sure. And yeah, I know you don't care, but that's fine. And the weather, aside from this
WrestleMania
stupid year, is normally better. And we normally have patio weather at around this time. And this year it sucks.
No, it does.
We're going to minus 15.
Oh, we're doing that again?
Yeah, we're doing it again.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it sucks.
Yeah.
But
all right.
We're going, okay.
All right. WrestleMania season. Check that out. We'll wrap it up here, everybody. For Kenny Walls, my name is Matt Robinson. Thanks so much for listening. Subscribe to the pod wherever you're hearing us right now. Make sure you check out his coverage of the Ottawa 67s playoff drive starting on Friday night. We'll catch you all on Monday morning. Rob makes his return to the TCA studio after a couple of weeks' absence. I don't know if you missed him. I didn't, but we'll see how everybody feels about that. Have yourselves a great weekend.